Good morning, everybody. Hopefully, everybody's having a great and exceptional day on beautiful TikTok and all that good stuff. If you're watching, I always ask, just hit the like button, hit the heart button, whatever platform you're watching on. If you haven't followed or subscribed, do that. It's all free. If you want to comment, do all that great stuff as well. But, anyways, happy hump day. It's the middle of the week. Can't believe after this week, we only have 2 more weeks left of October, and then Halloween is around the corner. So, time is just flying by. All right, so today I'm basically going live. My bad, I didn't mean to fade out. I'm still finishing up my, at this point, you call it brunch. So forgive me for eating, but I got to keep myself nice and healthy. Took my vitamins. But anyways, so main reason why I'm going live is because um, there's a shirt that I wore back in middle school. I can't believe this memory's popping back up. But there's a T-shirt that I wore in middle school, and it would say, "I'm so broke that if you rob me, it would be for practice." Um, what's going on, Chunky Dunk? How you doing this morning? But anyways, it was a funny shirt that I used to wear. I'm so broke, if you rob me, it would be for practice. And the main reason why I bring this up is because I was just looking at reading an article today, and it was talking about how the U.S. economy is slowly but surely, in a sense, collapsing because of the lack of consumer spending, and up to 60 to 70% of Americans, if they're not broke, they're going broke just because of the cost of living and whatnot, and how crazy things have become become. And then, of course, on TikTok, there's all these crash out videos everywhere because, it's serious times. People can't afford things more and more. And there's this growing mindset. Because my mindset is like, I think it'll hit the well to do on the top when the Christmas time comes and consumer spending, it becomes an all-time low, number one. Then number two, I think it'll be a big crash out if you start seeing a lot of celebrities shows not selling out because people can't afford to attend them. I mean, heck, it might even get back to, you remember the time during the pandemic, during the lockdown, when a lot of artists started doing shows online, um, or they started doing shows via the metaverse, where you paid a cheaper fee to see somebody perform because all the venues were closed. But heck, we're living in a time now where we have AI artists basically replacing human artists. So it's just like, artistry isn't what it used to be when it comes to good music. So, I mean, heck, to be real, I think that's another reason why talented people like Bad Bunny, this is not a shot at him. I think he's very talented. Not only are performing for the Super Bowl, but more and more music that's abroad outside of the United States has become more popular than music within the United States, is because there's just a little bit more love put into it compared to the music in the United States. It's not just about making money, but it's about being a good artist and things of that nature. But the crash out is real, to where people's bills, people can't keep up with them. The crash out is real, where more and more people are going to have to move to more cheaper cities, states, at times even countries, because you see all these videos that are getting more popular of people moving to places like Thailand, parts of Central and South America, even parts of Africa, where the dollar goes a lot much further, and their lifestyle is a little bit more laid back. Once again, this is no shade towards the United States. It's no shade towards any other country. I'm just speaking about what's happening. And whatever your opinion is, it is what it is. Because I always say, I don't argue over anything except about how I can get some money. So to me, only losers argue about things that have nothing to do with making themselves better and making any money. So that's just my personal opinion. I don't do that on social media. I got more important things as a grown man to do with my time. Just like me and my buddy was, matter of fact, I had a debate with a gentleman at the gym yesterday about the best stock to buy, about the best crypto to buy, because the markets have tanked and whatnot. But when it tanks, that's the time to buy, quoting Warren Buffett. And when it goes up, that's the time to sell. So it's just all about, position and whatnot. Not giving out any financial advice. I'm just saying what I do. You got to do your own research and be your own adult. But anyways, so the crash out is real, and more people are being affected by it. And then more and more people, going to have more people having to sell out their homes, bunk up with people, live in smaller spaces, kind of like life was during the Great Depression, as my grandparents would talk about. A lot of, shout out to my grandparents' generation, a lot of them, they grew up not only just sharing a room, they had to share a bed. If you ever seen that movie Sinners, which is a great freaking movie, by the way, one of my favorite movies that came out this year. because most of the new movies suck anyways. But anyways, there was the beginning of where the gentleman was on the plantation. He was up early before all the rest of the plantation workers, even though they were free, but they were basically still living on the plantation. This is like 50 years after when slavery became illegal in the United States. And him and his brothers and sisters and mother and father, they lived in a one-room shack at the end of the day. So anyways, he as he was working and didn't even have any shoes on, but when he went to go wake his brothers and sisters up, they basically only had 2 beds in the house. The one bed for him and his brother, the 4 brother and sisters, and the other bed for his parents. And that's just how it was. If you even go to a lot of these old colonial houses that were built back during the 17 and 1800s, like in Virginia where I live at, there's a lot of those old colonial houses during the era of, when the British colonized Virginia, before, when Virginia was considered a colony and not a state, before, the Royal Crown got their butt kicked in the American Revolutionary War. But anyways, and I remember going on a tour in this one house. And this was literally, this house it was a 2-level house, because this was considered to be a poor to middle class working family at the time in the 1800s. And literally it's one room. They had 2 rooms. The one room you walked into and once you entered the house, and then a room upstairs. And then you literally had 1 bed where the whole family slept in. So a lot of things that we have nowadays, people would consider to be very luxurious in certain countries, from certain other countries and certain other time periods, things of that nature. Main reason why I'm saying this, because I know I'm going on a rant and a tangent and somewhat getting off of subject, is that in a sense, financially, a lot of people are heading back to those times. Is that the worst thing on the planet? Absolutely not. But it just shows you the state of the United States of America when it comes to, and the Western world as a whole, when it comes to people and their finances. That's why more and more people are crashing out, as the saying goes, is because more and more people just can't afford a lot of things. And therefore, if people can't afford a lot of things, you have a situation like you have in a place like Vegas, where tourism goes down and Disney gets hit harder and harder because nobody can afford it. And like I said, I haven't been to a Disney theme park since 2013 and have there's no reason for me to go back because it's just overpriced. I could never justify spending $150 to $80. Yeah, it's $180 for a ticket for myself to do that. I can get a cheap flight to Texas or Atlanta for that, and have way more fun. But that's just my personal opinion. I'll leave it at that. But let me know in the comment section if you're feeling the heat, economic heat, if you're crashing out, if you feel like you don't have as much time as you used to have. It's interesting times that we're living in. And I just leave it at that. I'm going to do my word of the day. Excuse me. Do my word of the day on Snapchat, and then I'll put it on my YouTube channel. But yeah, hit up my YouTube channel. Larry's Anything Goes LLC, Patterson No Properties LLC, all that good stuff. And we really just have like 2.5 months left in 2025. So 2026 is going to be, it's going to be the time to, put this thing called life in overdrive, in my personal opinion. But, and once again, stop hating on people. Stop worrying about what other people are doing if it has nothing to do with making you better. If you're not trying to go out of your way to make other people better, you got to look at yourself in the mirror. No, that's another thing. And then another thing I put a post out there in regards to marriage, because it's a topic that I've been thinking about a lot lately, because I've never been married, don't have any kids. But it's a top subject matter that I think about. And let me know what your ideas are on marriage, or what a successful marriage looks like. I always say my idea of a successful marriage is, because, once you get to a certain age, you see beautiful females. Okay, great. That's, anybody can have, we live in an age where, especially because of social media, anybody can have sex with whoever they want to have sex with. So do what you do. But my idea of a marriage and partnership is, hey, one, we're working as a partnership. So me as the man should not be an additional bill to the wife, and the wife should not be an additional bill to me. We should be working as a corporation so we can build the next great generation. Then the next thing is love, companionship, having the same, being on the same mindset in regards to how we're going to move forward in this thing called life. But are we just going to walk down the aisle, get the certificate, and throw the ring in the air and post a bunch of pictures and videos on social media? Or are we actually going to have an adult conversation before we take that leap and become an asset towards one another, instead of just being an asset and liability, or just both liabilities to one another? That's the thing. It's just like, we're going to have that true partnership, or we just going to be look good on paper and look good online. Because I can look good online with anybody else, and having a certificate means nothing if there's nothing behind it. You know what I'm saying? A ring means nothing if there's nothing behind it in regards to, hey, here's my economic plan. What's your economic plan? We can buy this property together. We can open this business together. I got my good credit score. You got your good credit score. Hey, let's mesh. Let's come together. Let's pull some equity out. Let's buy some assets together. That plus the love and the companionship. But that's me. Because I don't care about politics. I don't care about video games. I don't care about sports. What am I into? I'm very simple. I like to work out. I like to travel. I like to make money. I like to invest. Okay, so these are the things that I'm into. I know I'm missing one. Business, traveling, investing, making money, working out. Those are the things that I'm into. So if somebody doesn't match that kind of energy, especially from the economic standpoint, because I done been with enough females that don't want to talk about the finances. So what's the purpose of being with one another if we're not going to be on the same page? But that's just my personal opinion. Let me know what you think in the comment section, because certain things in this life you have to compromise on. But when it comes to economics, that's something I'll never compromise on, because I've worked too hard to get to where I'm at, and I'm working hard to get to where I'm trying to go, to be around people in general, not just relationship, but just to be around people in general that have nothing to do with my future. Because I think that's all of us, especially me, because I'm going to act like I'm above anybody, but all of us have been guilty of being around people that we think we can change. All of us have been guilty of being around people that don't have the same mindset, but they're just fun to be around. Hey, I can hang out with my dog if I want to have fun. You feel me? Anyways, don't forget to check out the online store. If you're watching, just do the great 3 free things. Follow, like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Comment, all that's greatly appreciated. If you want to hit up the Cash App, Venmo, PayPal, links will be in the description. And all that good stuff. But thank you for watching. And hey, I don't think it's the time to crash out. I just think it's time to be more strategic. And when I say be more strategic, is not only just how do I make my money, but how are we going out of our way to pay down or pay off credit card debt, because the nation has a big credit card debt crisis. How are we going out of our way to ensure that we have more assets so that we can have more tax write-offs in the future during tax time? I just finished my taxes. Shout out to my tax guy at Orient Tax LLC in Woodbridge, Virginia. Shout out to them, Black-owned business. Got to finish doing my taxes and whatnot. So it made me think about, hey, how can I have more write-offs? And then, of course, the people around me, are they assets or are they liabilities? Am I an asset or am I a liability? These things matter the most. What am I learning? What am I engaging in? Or am I just, as they call doom scrolling on social media just to escape the real world? We can all do better. There's always room for self-improvement for all of us. So that's why I'm not casting stones in a glass house, because I'm not perfect. I'm not acting like I'm perfect, but I will say all at the same time is we all need to just go out of our way to be the best version that we can be at the end of the day. And just think outside of the box of life. We're just going to work, looking cute, and talking about sports. So, anyways. Hopefully you guys have a great day. I'm going to get to check out the online store. Oh, yeah, and I love thick women, too. Check out your thick girls, BBWs, or sexy T-shirts. Make Money Move T-shirts. It's all about business T-shirts. Workout gear, all that good stuff. Check out the online store. Take care. It's Larry's Anything Goes LLC. All right, so as I say, do the great 3 things. Let's share and subscribe. Have a good day. Make money move so you get boy like a fool, as they say in Spanish. Bienvenido a la vida. Welcome to the life.